Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I initially made this channel because I have a TBR of like 160 books and I kind of wanted to start like just video diaries of me reading through this physical TBR. And so I thought I'd make one video of where I just go through every book on my physical TBR, show them to you. So yeah. Let's go. Two things before I start. The books that are on here, there's a lot of fantasy, a little bit of science fiction, but also a lot of just fictional novels and classics. A lot of classics. I had a phase where I was like, I need to read more classics, so I got so many. Second, I read both in English and in German, so some books are German, some books are English. If it's a German book, I'll try and find the English title. Okay, I'll start over here. I already made a little pile and I'll just go through randomly. This is very random. When I was younger, I still love the Historic Materials trilogy. And so when the Book of Dust came out, I was really excited, but since then I kind of only heard bad things about this book, so I'm kind of scared, but yeah, I still have yet to read it. Then the Inkheart trilogy by Cornelia Funke. I read everything except the third book, and then this year the fourth one came out, so I have this as well on my TBR, but I really want to reread like the whole trilogy. This is Child Thief by Brom, I think it's called, The Child Thief. This was a gift. I think it's like a Peter Pan retelling. Then I got two Brandon Sanderson books. I have read Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I got this one. This is The Way of Kings, the first one in the Stormlight archive. Then I actually looked it up and it said that you should start with The Final Empire, so I have this one as well. Alice by Christina Henry. This is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and I think this is also a trilogy. No, not trilogy. I think this is also a series. Vengeful. I read Vicious this summer, and this is the sequel to Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Then I have so many books from like just, I want to say online. I bought a lot of books just because I heard about them online. So let's go through them. My Year of Rest and Relaxation, If We Were Villains, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Tender is the Flesh, A Deadly Education, Bunny, Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and I liked it. It was fine. Then I watched the movie Challengers with Zendaya and I really got into tennis. And so I was like, I need to get this book. Okay, this is Cinder by Marissa Maya. This was everywhere on BookTube a couple years back. The Luna Chronicles, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, The Color Purple by Alice Walker, The Virgin Suicides, Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I have had this book on my shelves forever. I don't even know if I'd still like it, if I'm being honest. We'll see. I'm gonna give every single book a chance, but I think I'm gonna be much more, like normally I'm someone who pushes through every book, but I'm never gonna get done. I'm gonna be much more strict with that. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey. This is also a TV show, The Expanse on Prime. Sometimes I randomly see books online. It's like, this is one of the best science fiction novels ever. And then I just get it. And that is something that I want to stop doing. Percy Jackson. Yes, I have never read Percy Jackson. Stardust by Neil Gaiman. The Priory of the Orange Tree. I feel like everyone has read this except for me, but it's like it's huge. The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. I feel like this is a zombie book. There's also a movie which I never watched because I'm gonna read the book first. That's what that got me. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have read Babel already by her and I really liked it, and I heard so many great things about the Poppy War, so I'm actually really excited to read this one. Then we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. This sounds so interesting. A Winter's Promise. What I heard about this one is that it has steampunk elements, and I had a phase where I was obsessed with steampunk. The Foundation Trilogy by Isaac Asimov. Then we have, this is called The Messenger by Markus Zusak. Markus Zusak is, I think, most well known for The Book Thief, but I found this one at a library book sale, and I remember that my best friend loved this when we were in school, so that's why I got it. If I don't like it, it's her fault. And then we have A Discovery of Witches, which I definitely also bought because I saw it online. It's been labeled as like dark academia fantasy. And then I have the rest of a series of Unfortunate Events, book 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now we have already reached this part here, the shelf. So this is, I know you can't see them all, but up until here, it's all Leigh Bardugo. And this is Leigh Bardugo's newest book, The Familiar. I started this on Audible, but I kinda couldn't follow along and didn't get the story, so I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just get the physical copy. Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. It was fine, whatever, and then I tried Throne of Glass, and I just I didn't like it. I know this is kind of an unpopular opinion, but I couldn't really warm up to this story at all. Now I have Crescent City, but I kind of need a break a little bit from Sarah J. Maas, so I'm gonna stay on my TBR for a while. I've already read The Lord of the Rings in German years ago, but I got this edition. But it's like this beautiful English edition, so I really want to reread The Lord of the Rings. Then we have the third book of the Dune series. This is Children of Dune. I read book 1 and 2. I loved the first book. And then the second book was fine, but I still felt like the first one was much better, and I kind of thought about DNFing the series, but then I watched the movies and I was like, actually, like, the world and the story, it's just so good. I want to continue it. And then we have The Wheel of Time. These are the first 3 books. So The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn. I got them for Christmas like 2 years ago. There are so many books in this series, so I'm kind of scared to start. But it's also so beloved, so I'm also kind of excited to start it. You have Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. And then we have, this is so old. I remember this being everywhere on BookTube like a couple of years ago. This is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I feel like this is so old and I still haven't read it. It's just embarrassing. Then we have this trilogy, which I loved as a teenager, I want to say, but it's a German trilogy, so I don't know the English name, if there is even an English name. Ooh, there is even. This is the English version of it. Arcadia Awakens. I loved it when I was younger. It's like about the Italian mafia in Sicily, and they like turn into animals or something like this. It's very obscure, but I thought it was amazing. I read the first and the second book when I was younger, and then years ago I found the third one online without a dust jacket. Like, I ordered it secondhand from somewhere. Yeah, I actually want to reread this whole trilogy. And then finish it finally with the last book. So that kind of concludes this part of my bookshelf. So let's go over here where there are all of the classics in fictional novels. Okay, so we have The Kite Runner. I read 1,000 Splendid Suns, and it's one of my favorite books, so I'm really excited to read this one. Then we have Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Then we have Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. 100 Years of Solitude, Chess Story by Stefan Zweig. I love these covers. This is Reclam. I love their covers. They're so pretty. I have other ones as well. A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. Divine Comedy by Dante. The Call of the Wild, I think, by Jack London. Around the World in 80 Days. I have read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, but also only in English, and I want to reread it in German. Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I read East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and I loved it. So excited for this one. The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. Okay, this one I'm actually really scared of, which is Moby Dick. Madame Bovary. Master and Margarita by Bulgakov. The Red and the Black by Stendhal. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is a very popular musical here. Me and my mom, we have already watched it twice, and the last time we went, we both gifted each other the book. So I bought it for her and she bought it for me. To my cloth-bound classics, Alice in Wonderland, The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Then I also have the Bronte Sisters collection. I've read Wuthering Heights already by Emily Bronte, but I always wanted a nicer edition than the one I had. Then I saw this box set and I was like, okay, I need it. It also has Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte and Villette by Charlotte Bronte, and then also The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. Then I have this box set of Charles Dickens novels. I already read Oliver Twist, and in this boxes are also Great Expectations, A Tale of Two Cities, and David Copperfield. But these books are also so nice. I think they're really pretty. Some more classics. The Great Gatsby. I have already read The Great Gatsby, but I want to reread it in English, so I only read it in German. Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad. What I want to add to this is that I have this scratch off poster. Maybe I'll show it later, but it's like the top 100 books of all time or something like this. This, for example, is on it, and also a lot of the other classics that I have are on this list, and that's why I got them. Slaughterhouse-Five. This is also on the scratch off poster. Then we have Gone with the Wind. So here in Vienna, once a year, the city of Vienna, whatever, you can get one book for free. My boyfriend's mom, she also reads a lot, and she always gets me one of the books. So the last two books that I got was The Reader. I read this in school already. I remember this, or I started it. And then I have The Hare with Amber Eyes, The Plague by Albert Camus, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, My Dark Vanessa, Kim Ji-young, born 1982, Miroloi by Karen Köhler, which was a gift from my mom. I have some more classics. This is gonna be like a mix of classics and fictional novels and also fantasy. I don't really have that much of a system on my bookshelves. It's more like by height, as you can see here. I like it when it's like all the same height. I feel like that's much nicer for me personally than by author's last name or by color or something like this. We have The Sanitarium by Sarah Pierce. I remember I got this because it was part of Reese Witherspoon's book club. The Chronicles of Narnia, in this edition where it's like all in one. Cloud Atlas. I loved the movie, I'm gonna be honest. I loved this movie when I was younger, and then I wanted to read it, but when I tried to read it years ago, I was much too young. My English was not good enough, and I just didn't understand anything in this book. Fight Club. Jade City by Fondely. I've heard great things about this. And here it says in German, one of the 100 best fantasy books of all time? A Little Life. I just heard everybody say this is the saddest book. And then when I hear stuff like that, I'm always like, I need to read this. This one I'm actually excited to read. I'm excited to read all of these books. It always comes up wrong. Never Let Me Go by Katsuo Ishiguro. Did I say that right? I remember watching the movie years ago and I was so captivated by the story. So I'm really excited to read this. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. I read The Secret History. I feel like everyone and their mom has read The Secret History. So my mom actually also read The Secret History. I wanted to read something else by Donna Tartt. She has like 3 books. She has published 3 books. The Secret History, The Goldfinch, and then The Little Friend. And The Goldfinch just sounds boring to me, so I got The Little Friend. But I've heard a lot of people say that this is her weakest book. Whatever. So this is a German book. There is no English translation to this. I got this for like €5 and it's like this historical thriller horror novel. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. Geisha by Arthur Golden. That's also on that scratch of poster. Midnight's Children. I think it's called Midnight's Children in English by Salman Rushdie. And then 2 books by Murakami. How do you say that one? 1Q84? The Wind Up Bird Chronicle. Yeah, that's what it's called. And now we're here. As I said, I got a lot of books because they were trending. Fourth Wing. When I first heard about Fourth Wing, about this school for dragon riders, it sounded like something that's right up my alley. So I immediately got it because it was like everywhere. And then, time passed. I didn't read it and I just heard from everyone how bad it is and now I'm scared to read it. I'll still try it though. I'll still try. She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea. I also had a phase where I wanted to read pirate books. Like I rewatched Pirates of the Caribbean and I was like, I need to read more pirate books. That's when I got this one. Okay, I don't know if I'm counting these because like this is not something you just read like that. But this is Homer, the Iliad, and the Odyssey. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This was also a gift. I looked it up. There is no English translation for this. And it's mentioned Flügel von Andreas Eschbach. I just know that it's science fiction and it's huge. Lessons in Chemistry. This was actually a gift from my brother to my mom for Christmas, but she already had it, so I got it. Another book, which was a gift from my mom, Die Bücher der Junge und die Nacht by Kai Meier. It translates to the books, The Boy and the Night. I would say. And it's just a story about books, which I love. Then A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, which was also a book from my mom. She gets me a lot of books. She always gets me books and I get her books. It's like this thing where we always just send each other books we feel like the other one would like. So this one she gave me. Then another classic, Anna Karenina, also from my mom, because I mentioned that I want to read War and Peace and she was like, you know what? You should better start with this. Like, read this first. I think she's right. The Art of War, which is on that scratch of poster. And then this shelf right here. These are Stephen King novels. I read a bunch of his already, but these 2 I haven't. The Stand and It. Then The Martian by Andy Weir. The thing is, it's often the case that a movie comes out, like this one, and I want to watch it, and then I learn about it's actually a book. So I'm like, no, I have to read the book first. So I get the book and it's like on my shelf forever and I don't read it. And then I also don't watch the movie because I have to read the book first. That was the same with like Little Women as well. When the movie came out, the new one, Newer. And I didn't watch that for years because like, no, I have to read the book first. The Wind Up Girl. I can't say that name. I think this is also science fiction. Oh my God, I just took my unread books out of the shelf and it's empty. That's embarrassing. I have Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Edgar Allan Poe. 3 Men on a Boat. That's also on the scratch of poster. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. I have never read Hemingway in my life. American Psycho. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This one is also on the scratch-off poster. The Poisonwood Bible. The Great Alone by Christine Hanna. Then Alchemist, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Coelho. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. The House of the Spirits. Hunger by Knut Hamsun. A Gentleman in Moscow. So I got a couple more books to go through because I went to a library book sale twice. So I'm just gonna go through the books that I got at those library book sales. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. I'm so bad at names of authors. That's why I haven't pronounced a lot of them. Then we have The Risen Empire by Scott Westerfeld. Scott Westerfeld is the author of the Ugly series. When I was younger, I loved that series. So I saw his name, and this is adult sci-fi, so not YA. So I was like, why not? This one is a German book. It doesn't have a translation. Ich träumte von einer Bestie von Nina Blason. It's about this woman who has like a lot of trauma from her family, who has to go to France because her grandmother dies, and then she has to like face her traumas there. I don't know, sounds interesting. I really love stories about people. That sounds so dumb, but like I'm not a big romance reader. You might have noticed that. So when I read fiction, I just like normal stories, normal people going through stuff. This is called The 10-Year Nap in English by Meg Wolitzer. This is called The Haunted Bookshop by Christopher Morley. It's basically just about this haunted bookshop in New York, in Brooklyn in 1919. It sounds kind of fun. The Marble Collector by Cecilia Ahern. I know my mom loves this book. Three Women by Lisa Taddeo. The Chestnut Man. There is a Netflix show, and I saw this at the library sale, and I was like, oh my god, it's from the Netflix show. Why not read it? A Swedish thriller. I want to read like more Nordic thrillers. Do you say Nordic? Exquisite by Sarah Stovall. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. No, I've never read this. I'm actually really excited to read this. I only read Sharp Objects, but I love her writing, so I'm really excited for those. Okay, and the last couple of books. So first of all, this book from my mom, I've had this for ages. This is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Do you remember when the Notre Dame burned down? I was like, oh my god, I want to read this book. And my mom had it, and I've had it since then. I don't know when that was. That was like years ago. I have this short story collection from my mom. This is like 101 short stories from 101 female authors. There's some authors that I know in here, others I don't. So I'm really excited to read this. Like there's in here is like Virginia Woolf, Zelda Fitzgerald, so very well known, and then others that I've never heard about. I know Doris Lessing and Clarice Lispector. Then I have two more biographies. I have Michelle Obama's biography, Becoming. Yes, I haven't read that yet. I think that's also been, hasn't she already released another one? Promised Land by Barack Obama. Okay, so my battery died on the last books. Anyway, so let's get through the last books. Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. This is what the movie Everest is based on. It's based on this book. In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. So her retelling of how she escaped North Korea. And then I have this is a gift from my brother. It's The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. It's, I think, a self-help book. I never read self-help books, but he gave this to me. He gifted this to me years ago. If you see this, I'm sorry, but I don't think you're gonna watch this far into this video anyway, so. So I think this was pretty much it. I hope I did not forget a book. If I did, I'm just gonna like insert it, whatever. Okay, so I actually did forget two books. Don Quixote, Anne of Green Gables. I love this edition. I think this edition is like really beautiful. Back to the original video. So yeah, this is my physical TBR. I hope you'll stick around to see me tackle this because it is a lot. If you've watched until now, thank you so much. Yeah, and I hope to see you soon in my next video. Bye!